I had a birth defect, and 11 years ago, they finally came up with a procedure to correct it. So I was going in to have that done, and they do a real complete physical first, and they found out that my lungs were in really bad condition. And I knew that because I had had a autoimmune disease since I've been probably in my teens. And so in that 1 year, I had my heart fixed, my biopsy on my lungs, and then they found breast cancer. So I had a mastectomy. So that was all done in a year. That is a year, that was 11 years ago. So you can make it through anything. It was about probably 3-4 years ago. I could tell that my autoimmune disease in my lungs was really taking its toll. And in my disease, there's 20% of the people that have my disease that it's just chronic. It just doesn't go away. It's just kind of there all the time. And that's, unfortunately, I'm one of those 20%. And so it got so bad that really if I was in a parking lot going to a store, going to church or whatever, just the walk from where I parked the car to going in the building was really an effort. And I would have to stand at the side and catch my composure, my breath and my composure before I really continued. I mean, it was really getting bad. So I went to a doctor in this area, and they sent me to do all the tests. And she said, well, if you would have come in earlier, I could have saved your life. And I looked at her and I says, are you saying that I'm not going to make it? And she said, yes, that's what I'm saying. And I thought, bummer, you know, here I make it through cancer, and then this is it. And so my body, I mean, I knew that things were not good. And she had told me at that time that if I get a cold or the flu, that would be it. And I had had a preschool, I had operated a preschool for 30 years. And so I thought, well, you know, you got to get rid of that. You've got to quit. And so I got out of the business, had to retire, got out of a lot of social engagements because that's not a good place to be with colds and flu. And so I just did yard work, stayed at home, and basically was at the end of my rope. You know, you can either sit and wait to die, or you can fight to live. And so I just really prayed about it, and I really think that the Lord knows about CrossFit, because that's right where He sent me. Through my daughter and my son-in-law, I came here and met Curtis and Lori, and it started.
And I thought there was no way that she would come down to this gym, just because I had told her, because I think I had been going for about 2 years, and I would tell her the workouts that we would do, and I was, you know, almost throwing up outside and stuff, and then I thought, that's probably wrong to have told her all that and then ask her to come down here. But she came down, and because I think she knew it was a matter of life or death, you know, getting better, or she had to try something different. And so I was just really glad that she came down. And I mean, for me, I didn't know what else I could offer her to help, but to give her just, you know, what I thought would help.
In all honesty, I was a little nervous when she first came in, because I had never had anything like that before, where we had to try and work around that. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was just like, well, it'll be, I mean, it's just like working with anybody else. Her capacity's just lower to start out with, so we need to start lower with our, you know, modifications and everything. But it's going to be, once it's human movement, it's human movement. So, you know, just figure out a way to make it work for her, and that's kind of what we did.
And when I first started, I was on 40 milligrams of prednisone. And so you look like the Pillsbury Doughboy in the face, you know. And it was so much pressure on my chest and on my heart when I would do things. I would actually think, when I'd come here, I'm going to die. I really think I'm going to die. And it would scare me sometimes. And then I started thinking, well, if you die here, I mean, what a place to have something go wrong with you, because there's all these firefighters and everything here. So really, you're better off having a problem here than at home out working in your yard, you know. And so I just kept working, and then I went to a specialist. And the first time I went to him, he saw my breathing test that I had brought from this area. I hand carried them to him. And his first thing that he said is that if you started to have major problems, I couldn't save your life until you lost 50 pounds. And to me, he said I couldn't operate on you unless you lost 50 pounds. And to me, knowing what kind of doctor he was, in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, he's talking about a lung transplant, and that he couldn't even do that until I lost 50 pounds.
Yeah, well, the first time she went in to have her, I guess she would have her, she would do this breathing test, and she said, well, I started working out, I started doing this thing called CrossFit and stuff, and there was a bit of, it improved, her breathing had improved, and instead of saying, the doctor saying, well, it was because, you know, you're working out and stuff, he tried to say, well, it's because it was different machines. That's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. It's just because the first machine that you were on was, you know, in a different area, and this one is a different one. So they didn't really tell her at first that it was because she was working out. And then the second time she went in, and they told her, okay, what are you doing? Because obviously you're getting better, you know.
And so he said, well, just keep going. And then all the time then, while this was happening, I was going down in my dosage of prednisone. So the last time I went, I got in that little chamber and was doing the breathing, and the man stopped it. And he said, I have to put you in another chamber because I think something's wrong with this one. And I said, okay. And I thought, oh no, I've taken a turn for the worst, you know. And so I get in the other chamber, and he does the work, and he says, your doctor's going to really be pleased to see this. And so then I knew it was good, naturally. And I took it to him, and his word was miraculous. He said, it is just miraculous. And by that time I was down to, I went from 40 milligrams, which is really high, to I think it was 1.5 every other day. And so he says, okay, now we're going to go off from that completely, and we're going to do the inhaler. And so that's what I've been doing for a year. And now he put me down. I don't even have to go in every 3 months or 6 months. I can go in every year. And the interesting part of that is he said, what do you want to do in your life? I mean, what do you really want to do? And because he says, you know, right now it's looking like you have a future in retirement. And I said, well, my son is a marathoner. I said, I would love to be able to run around a track. And because I was getting to the point on a good day, now not every day, but on a good day I could run the ends of the track. And then I have to walk, get my breath, and then run the other end of the track. I said, I'd love to be able to run a track. And slow, but actually say I'm jogging or running instead of just walking. He said, Mary, you can do that if you just lose 20 pounds. So now and the doctor, he's really a good guy, because he said, well, you don't have to come back for a year unless you want to take a challenge. And I said, well, what kind of challenge? And he said, I want you to come back in June, and I want you to have 15 to 20 pounds off. And we're going to do it just for weight. We'll do all the tests and everything, But he said, I want you to be accountable for the weight. So that is the hardest thing in my life. And even while I've been coming here, I know I have been eating right. I know that I have. And I have lost 15 pounds or so. But now my goal is to continue at CrossFit and eat properly so I can get that weight off. I want to run a track.